My son and his spouse asked me to visit them in Los Angeles. Their house was empty. Their neighbor hurried over, yelling, "Get out before I tease too late." You ever have a moment, a single, devastating sentence, rip your world apart and force you to look at everything you thought you knew through utterly shattered eyes? Because that's what happened when my neighbor, Larry, whispered, "Run. Your son and his wife, they're monsters." And when I asked him what he meant, the terrible truth that tumbled out nearly made my legs buckle. My own son. Could he really be a murderer? Just hours before, my entire life had felt like it was crumbling. The Henderson contract, $22 million in annual revenue, lay scattered across my mahogany desk like fallen leaves. 23 years I'd spent building Ramos Logistics, and now they were pulling out, effective immediately. My coffee had gone cold, a greasy film on top, as I stared at the cancellation notice, praying the numbers would magically change. I leaned back in my leather chair, feeling every one of my 67 years in my shoulders. The desert sun blazed through my office blinds, casting harsh lines across the financial reports. My jaw clenched as I calculated the damage. 3 employees would have to go, maybe 4. Then the phone's shrill ring sliced through the afternoon silence like a knife. I almost let it go to voicemail. The last thing I needed was more bad news. But the caller ID made me freeze. Milton. My son. 3 years. 3 long years since our last conversation. 3 years since he'd stormed out of this very office, shouting about my lack of faith in his dreams. I stared at the phone, my finger hovering, my heart a raw ache of old wounds. "Hello, Dad?" His voice was softer than I remembered, uncertain. I know we haven't talked in forever, and I know that's mostly my fault, but I waited. The Henderson contract suddenly seemed less important. "Flossie and I, we want to invite you over. We've missed you." Martha's photo smiled at me from the corner of my desk. She always said I was too stubborn, too hard on the boy. "When were you thinking? Maybe this Friday? We'll make a great dinner. I've been wanting to show you the house, and Flossie's become quite the cook." He paused again. "I owe you an apology, Dad, for how things ended between us." The fight came rushing back. Milton, at 35, asking for $50,000 to invest in some app that would revolutionize transportation. The look on his face when I'd said no, when I'd told him to get a real job instead of chasing fantasies. "You never believed in me," he'd shouted. "I believe in hard work, not get-rich-quick schemes," I'd retorted. The door had slammed so hard it rattled the windows. Martha's last photo had fallen off the wall that day. "I've missed you too, son." The words came out rougher than I intended. "I'll drive up Friday morning." "Really? That's wonderful. We live in Beverly Hills now. I'll text you the address." Beverly Hills. The boy had done well for himself, apparently. Maybe I'd been wrong about him after all. Maybe Martha's gentle voice had been right, as usual. After hanging up, I sat in the silence for full story video added in below.